Hello, my name is David. Welcome back to my channel. Today I have a book haul for you and a pile of maybe reads for September. Ones that are higher priority than others that I wanted to just kind of go over them. Got back from vacation, small weekend getaway down to the Branson area. My wife and I and our kids, and had a good time, spent a lot of time at a lake. Just really enjoying being together as family. Did get one evening away with my wife. We had some good barbecue, which was awesome. I'm always down for more good barbecue. And then we went out kind of looking around, browsing, and I was underwhelmed by the bookstore selections in the Branson area, as well as the board game store selections. But there was Book Warehouse, and so that's where we ended up going. And got a couple of books there. I knew going in that while the prices that they're going to offer were going to be good, the selection was going to be less than remarkable. I had heard rumor from looking online that a lot of what they are going to offer are later books in a series. And so if you don't already have that series or haven't already started that series, you're not going to go pick up book 4 to start reading a series, at least not normally. So I knew that my mileage may vary going in there. And that's okay. I still found some good things. So the first thing I want to show is a book that knew was coming as the after effects of the Joe Loves to Read Thrift Books winning. This was the free book that I won after that purchase. So this is Children of Hurin by Tolkien. Has some great artwork in there. I'm excited to reread this at some point in time. Might be in the cards for the near future because the Silmarillion has me itching to get back into things like that. And speaking of itching to get to things, you'll notice a trend with this 4 item book haul, because they share a common kind of theme here, and we'll see if you can pick up on what it is. So the one that my wife found for me, and I had to go ahead and say yes. So Frank Herbert Dune Saga books 1 through 3. So this was still in wrap. It is now opened. So I now have my own copy of Dune, along with Dune Messiah and Children of Dune. I've only ever read Dune. It's been years. I remember I enjoyed it, but I wasn't blown away by it. So I've been itching to do a reread of it because I know that it's fantastic. It's a beloved book. It's a series that I want to read in its entirety, even though I know it's peaks from the start. I'm prepared for that. I'd like to go through and read the rest of them. And so having 3 books together that are same style makes a good start to that Dune collection. So the second book I got, the collected short stories of C.J. Not even going to try to pronounce that last name. Let me know how to pronounce it. So, quarter century of short stories shows an award-winning writer to be master of more than just novels, by sci-fi.com. I haven't read anything by this author, but the collected short fiction seemed like a good place to start. I mean, I've got 726 pages worth of stuff in here. That's a lot to enjoy, and to get tastes of, and to get samples of, and to be able to chip away at various stories in here. And so I'm excited to do so. Next, we have, start with the one that caught my eye first, because they kind of go together. There were a whole bunch of copies of this. So this is Infinite Stars, Dark Frontiers. So this is an anthology. It says New Wayfarers, Confederation, and Lost Fleet Stories. So it's got George R.R. Martin, it's got Becky Chambers, it's got Robert Heinlein, it's got Jack Campbell, Tanya Huff, Seanan McGuire, Orson Scott Card, Neil Asher, and many more. So it's an anthology, and it says it's the definitive anthology of space opera. I'm like, okay, you know, Becky Chambers, I want to read Becky Chambers. I'm always in for Ender's Game stuff for Orson Scott Card. And so there's just so much stuff in here. And I looked at this, and it is the second volume of Essential Space Opera Science Fiction, featuring 14 brand new and exclusive stories in much loved series. So even if I haven't read the series, or haven't read all of the series, this is a good sampler on some of these series and some of these authors to decide, do I like it? And what better time than Space Opera September to have something like this sitting on my shelf, to be able to pop it open. Or if I don't get to it in Space Opera September, I've got it for New Worlds November, which is coming up, which is all about reading shorter science fiction. What better volume to have? And while I was there, my second time through, I happened to stumble across a single copy of this. I wish it was hardcover to match that. But lo and behold, Infinite Stars, the very first anthology. This one's got new Ender's Game, Honor Harrington, and Universe and Dune stories. So it's 2 massive tomes. I mean, these are thick, full of stories. And so those of you that follow me on Instagram, I'm going to do photos of the table of contents of both of these as a side-by-side comparison. You let me know which one of these I should start with based on what's inside those pages. I want to look, I want to see, because it looked like it was 2017 and 2019 that those two came out. Now that we're in 2021, I'm wondering if there's a new one that's out or about to come out that I need to get to complete the collection there. I'm absolutely interested in picking up any of those, and I've come to appreciate more and more anthologies like that, that don't necessarily compile existing stuff, but have kind of exclusive little side stories for beloved series. So, yeah, I'm definitely getting I'm in the mood for sci-fi vibes from that book haul. And rightfully so, because we've got Space Opera September coming right up. And I'll be talking about these a little bit more, but during the drive, I listened to 2 novellas. Murderbot, the first Murderbot, by Martha Wells, and then a novella by Becky Chambers. Drawing a blank on the name right now. Let's see here. I can get to that because I just marked it as read on my Goodreads. To be taught if fortunate. And so I'm going to talk about both of those a little bit more. So All Systems Read and To Be Taught if Fortunate. And I've just enjoyed getting the sampling of some sci-fi. And it's really, really got me in the mood to read more of it. In fact, I want to just say, forget everything that I had planned for September to just mood read in sci-fi. I'm not going to do that because I have people that are planning to read along with a couple of these with me. So let's talk about September plans. First and foremost, the one that's not going away, no matter what you say or do. Beowulf. It's going to be a great read-along of Beowulf. It's one I'm very familiar with. I've read many, many times. I've read many translations. I actually just read a translation during vacation that I got through, I'm drawing blanks, NetGalley. So I had a translation of Beowulf that I was approved for that I'll be writing up a review for that, which will be popping up on Goodreads, I'm assuming, at some point in time. So I'm ready to read more Beowulf. This is the translation I have on my shelf that I happened to grab. The translation I'm going to be reading is actually the new one by Maria. I can never remember her full name. But it's a new one. It just came out. It's nominated for a couple of the different major awards for sci-fi and fantasy as a groundbreaking work. my understanding is it uses a lot of modern 21st century lingo, including some kind of text speak, and the opening word of Beowulf is an unknown word, and it's kind of an attention getter. And so many different translations have viewed it in different ways. The one that I just read had it as hearken. Seamus Haney has it as so, and this Maria one I've heard has it translated as bro. So that tells you that it's going to be starting off on a foot. I expect to absolutely hate the translation. I'll just be upfront with that. I am going into it expecting that I'm not going to like it at all, that I'm not going to like the liberties taken by the translator. But we'll see. I'm willing to have my viewpoint on that challenged and be proven wrong. I'm also going to be, I got approved on NetGalley to read a translation of Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, which after reading the introduction just yesterday, leading into it, he's also taken liberties for 21st century lingo. So I'm ready to buckle in for all kinds of that and having all kinds of fun, just facepalm moments on why would they translate like this. I get it. You're trying to make a work that's really, really old and make it accessible to a new crowd. And in this introduction, he's justifying it as that, it's becoming more accessible to the modern crowd, and it's going to make it more palatable. And that if the Beowulf poet were alive today, he probably would choose to use a lot of these word choices. Or the Gawain poet was alive today, he'd probably choose to make a lot of the decisions I made in how I'm translating these things. We'll just leave it there at that. Let's see, I'm not in order here. The next thing that I'm definitely going to be doing is I'm going to be continuing my Caesar along. John from Hey Y'all Listen Up actually pinged me the other day. I was just about to embark on Gallic War, and he said, hey, Gallic War is like 300 pages. The couple at the end are like 30 to 50 pages each. Why don't we split Gallic War in 2 months? And me being behind on my reading for the month, said, oh yes, absolutely, we'll just do half of the Gallic War. So we're going to read the second half of the Gallic War next month, and then we will move to Civil War in October. So it's not too late. You can join us for the great Julius Caesar read along in the Gallic War. That is definitely going to happen. In addition to that, the other definitely going to happen, I made plans months ago to do Shakespeare in September. And I know of at least one person that's wanting to join me in reading the Henrietta plays. So Richard II, Henry IV, parts 1 and 2, and Henry V. So I can't just brush that aside, and I'm always happy to read some more Shakespeare, even if I'm not currently today in the mood to do that. And so we're going to be reading those 4 plays across the month of September. And for those that like to plan, let's just get the September calendar pulled up here. There are 4, so it starts on Wednesdays. The month starts on a Wednesday. So here's what my kind of flow is going to be. And you're welcome to follow your own pace, whatever you want to do. But if you want to hit me on Voxer so we can chat about it daily, or on Discord, or through email, however you want to get a hold of me, Twitter, Instagram, all of it's down below, ways that you can get a hold of me. But if you're reading along, my pace that I'm going to be following myself is going to be the Wednesday, since that's what's going to start it. I'm going to read the introduction that I have for the play. And then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, so the next 5 days, I'll read an act a day, because all these plays are broken into 5 acts. And then I'll take Tuesday as kind of a flex so I can catch up if I'm behind sort of day. And that'll be a good pacing to get us through all those. Will I make a video for each of these? I don't know. Probably not. I'm way behind on videos. I'll probably do one towards the end of the month where I talk about all 4 of them. But I've got so many videos I want to make. I've slowed down on doing tags. I'm probably going to do just one more tag video, which will be the Your Answer Can't Be Books tag, and then put those on hiatus for a while to get caught up on my backlog of books that I just want to talk about and review. Because as fun as tags are, and as great as they are, and I enjoy watching them, I'd much rather give you something good, like talking about how much I don't even want to spoil how I felt about Hyperion, but I love this book. I can't wait to read the second one. Space Opera September. I want to pick up Fall of Hyperion and start reading it. I can't. My month's too full. But I want to get to those book reviews where I talk about those books. So, the other likely to happens. Well, the other definites to happen. I've got a couple buddy reads. This is a big one. Pillars of the Earth. I'm going to be buddy reading it with Brighton Bookish. We're going to get through this. In theory, my audio hold on the library that I've been pushing back a little bit here and there should come into play for me at the end of this month, to where I can just audio through this big book. Not because I don't want to read it, not because I won't be also physically reading some of it, but so that I can just... I've got a lot of stuff on. I've got a lot of stuff I want to read. So that's a good audio candidate to try to push through on that. So I'm going to be buddy reading that. I'm going to be buddy reading with One Half of an Erudite Adventure, She by H. Rider Haggard. So I'm excited to read this. Good vintage novel here. A couple hundred pages, 256. I'm looking forward to that one. Those are definitely happening. I am buddy reading The Collapsing Empire by John Scalzi. Oh, I haven't checked it out from the library yet. I was hoping to run into that in the wild, but, Book Warehouse, I had to temper my expectations there. So I'm buddy reading that. I'm also buddy reading with a pair of people from the SFF 180 Discord channel for their whole Space Opera September contest. One of the things is you do a buddy read, and so we'll be buddy reading Velocity Weapon by Megan E. O'Keefe. I know very little about it, but it was on their list of ones that they wanted to hit for the month, and so I said, yep, I'll join you for that. Sounds good. So let's do it. And then in that Discord, there's also a part where you can get a challenge, where you challenge somebody to read a book, and they challenge you to read a book. And the person I challenged has to read The Forever War by Joe Haldeman, which, if you remember, I absolutely loved that book. Went into it as a mood listen and was blown away by it. And so I was challenged to read A Big Ship at the End of the Universe by Alex White. So that's going to be starting 3 different sci-fi series, book ones. And I'm excited to see if any of them or all of them stick. Maybe October is going to turn into the month of mood reading for me, where I'm going to be going into book 2s of a whole bunch of sci-fi series, including Fall of Hyperion, because I'm going to make that work soon. I'm going to make that work soon. Okay. I am almost positive I will try to find a way to continue the great Edgar Rice Burroughs read-along with Michael K. Vaughan. My speculation is that these 2 books are going to be the ones up for September. The Warlord of Mars and the Beasts of Tarzan. I finished The Return of Tarzan. I'm reading this next week, the second book in the Barsoom trilogy, or series. So what else am I considering? Because that's all I'm going to commit to, is I'm considering. If I decide to continue my Ray Bradbury read every book spy, I might give myself a pass for the month because I have other books I want to get to. But it's Fahrenheit 451. I love Fahrenheit 451. I'll probably try to find a way to make it work because I do love that book and I want to get to it. September when Banned Books Week happens? If so, that would be a good candidate to read that week. I am considering reading Shakespeare's Kings, great plays in the history of England in the Middle Ages, 1337 through 1485, just because it features the kings that I'm going to be reading about for my Shakespeare read-along. You saw those space opera anthologies that I showed you. I might jump into one of those. If I get around to an Antonia Fraser this month. The next one up is Mary, Queen of Scots. So I'm out of her historical fiction. So I'm past the King Arthur that I DNF'd and threw, and past the Robin Hood that I didn't throw but didn't enjoy much more, and was only able to tolerate it a little bit better because I'm less familiar with Robin Hood and the canon behind it. So I'm excited to see how the actual history books turn out. This one's, I mean, this is short for most of the history books that are on my shelf for her, but this is a big book. We'll see. I might push it back a month. In theory, I may read History in English Words by Owen Barfield to continue my inkling along. I don't think anybody else is going to be reading this with me, so I'm perfectly okay with putting this off for a little while. But if you were planning on reading this, let me know in the comments so that I don't neglect you, because I'd love to have the buddy read with you. I was highly disappointed with this. There's a reason why two of the Inklings are the ones that everybody talks about, I'm guessing. And then last, but surely not least, I'm feeling it. This one might be a total mood decision here. There's a couple of people that are looking at September to read 30 books in 30 days. I think that's insane. But maybe I'll add in 30 stories in 30 days and pull out maybe my Norton book of science fiction and try to get through some of the very best North American science fiction from 1960 to 1990. I mean, that's a long list of names. Yeah, there's a lot of stories in here. Instagram, follow me, because I'll if you're interested, I'll post also the table of contents from here, and you can let me know what ones I should jump to and make sure I hit. Because I'd love to hit at least a couple of those short stories. And don't worry, I'll still have plenty of short science fiction to read in New Worlds November. This isn't even the tip of the iceberg. I've got a couple other anthologies. I've got short books. I mean, I've got a whole section of vintage sci-fi that are all 200 pages, 300 pages or less that I can just plow through in November. But there's a very strong part of me that just wants to say the rest of 2021 is sci-fi, because I'm totally in the mood for some sci-fi. So again, hit me with recommendations. Let me know what I should add to this TBR that never ends. It goes on and on, my friends. So thank you for watching. That was a small book haul. That was a sizable TBR. Not my most insane TBR, I don't think yet, especially since I've left a lot of them as maybe I will get tos. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what all I get around to. I've got some definites. The 3 for Space Opera September. The 2 buddy reads that I've got beyond that, that are outside of that. The Shakespeare plays and the Caesar along are the definites. And the Edgar Rice Burroughs are pretty much a shoe-in, as long as I can fit them in. But from there, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Maybe I'll go with something completely different. So, Let me know what you plan to read for September. Let me know if any of those strike your fancy that you would want to read along with me at some point in time, whether in September or in the future. Thank you for watching.